They sound okay, but they are not. Now, what happens is that with this kind of complexities of either extreme over spirituality or extreme worldliness, then we now find ourselves where we are, where we now start saying about someone, you say, oh, it's okay, but it's not my spec. Yeah? Oh, she's not my spec. Or I don't want to settle for less. Another human being is less. And you that you are talking, because you don't know that you, to someone else, you might be less also. Well, if everyone doesn't want to settle for less, then who will get married? And this is, there was one, I have to say this story. There was someone, some years ago, like, well, he's a friend, close friend, great guy, great Christian guy, I know that. And he was, by and large, professionally successful. At that point in time, he was one of the youngest EDs in the banks, one of these big banks in Nigeria. And he wasn't married. I said, bro, so he gave me his spec. Very serious spec. But I thank God I was up to the task. So I found a spec for someone who came out of this church. He was in the US. So I contacted that one. They contacted each other. You know, yeah, I was a bit into matchmaking then. They contacted each other. She was in America. He was here. She couldn't come here. He couldn't go there. So they met in London. You can see the intercontinental. So I was even happy that, yeah, this will be nice. But then afterwards, they said they met, everything seemed okay, but there was no progress. You know, there just wasn't progress. I had to call brother, what exactly is wrong? He couldn't pinpoint anything. It's just that the spec wasn't, it was 99%. It wasn't 100%. So I just told him, I told the lady that, look, we thank God, just move on. But for him, I said, look, I suspect the one you want, the angels have not yet created. This is what it causes a problem. Because how can demographics tell us that we have unmarried men, we have unmarried women? Why aren't they getting married? All these things. Anyway, let me quickly move on. What are the simple points that we should look at if we're not going to be involved in all of this? We go back to our story in Genesis chapter 2. Very simplistic thing, right? What was expected of the man, the male, that's Adam? Adam had two things there. One, provision. He was working. God put him in the Garden of Eden. He was working, but he was working. He had a job in his hand. And two, he certainly had a good character. Yeah? Well, how do we know? Even in the words that he said to his wife the first time they met in 24, is it 23? You are the bones of my bones, you are the flesh of my...